to the Mark O'Brien radio program. You're going to be glad you joined us at this very moment because sitting with us in the studio is arguably, I guess, the greatest football player to ever play, but the greatest receiver to ever play the game, Jerry Rice. Good morning, Jerry.
Hey, how you guys doing?
This man was Rookie of the Year in 1985.
That was a long time ago.
Selected to the Pro Bowl 13 times. He has 3 Super Bowl rings, the MVP of Super Bowl 23. He holds 38 NFL records, which is a record in itself.
He has a record for holding records.
He scored the most touchdowns in NFL history, 207. The most receptions, 1,549. Yards receiving, 22,895. All-purpose yards, 23,540. Touchdown receptions, 197. And consecutive games with at least one catch, 274.
That's crazy.
That's crazy talk.
That's crazy.
Are you crazy?
I'm always amazed when I hear, about the records, because I never played the game because of the records.
Right.
And, so many guys really, helped put me in that position there.
Yeah.
Some legends, like Joe Montana, Steve Young, 2 Hall of Famers, quarterbacks, and you got to give those guys credit.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What were the differences in, Joe Montana, yourself, and the San Francisco 49ers of the 80s gave us some of the most exciting moments in the history of football. But you had to make an adjustment when Joe moved on to Kansas City and they brought Steve up. So, and of course, Steve Young is throwing the ball with the other hand.
Exactly.
So were there any adjustments for you?
Yeah, I pretty much had to throw everything I had accomplished with Joe out the door and just try to adjust to Steve, because that was my first time catching the ball from a lefty. Also, Steve, he was known as a running quarterback. So a lot of times, I was running downfield and you hear the crowd just start cheering. Steve was running up your back or something like that. And then later on during his career, he wanted to become more of a pocket passer, and he was able to do that. But, yeah, I pretty much had to throw everything, sweep everything under the rug. And I was able to build a chemistry with Steve, and we went on and we scored a lot of touchdowns and we won the Super Bowl.
You can't achieve what you've achieved without not just stepping up to a challenge, but enjoying the challenge. So that was one of those moments, wasn't it?
Without a doubt, and that's why I played the game, for the challenge of it, and going out there knowing that you had an opponent that wanted to stop you and pretty much wanted to hurt you, and being able to fight through that and still somehow keep your composure and find a way to win the football game.
Jerry Rice is here. He's got a new book out called Going Long, My Journey Beyond the Game and the Fame. What has happened when you played, and you're considered one of the classiest acts in sports, not just football. What has happened between when you played and now with the Randy Mosses, the Terrell Owens? What has changed? Why is that happening?
Well, I think you got a lot of prima donnas out there right now, and with those guys, well, here's the scenario. What happens in football is that the older guys are being pushed out. Then you have the new generation coming in, and I think these guys, they really don't have anybody to lead by example. And so, they want to go out there. They want to do things just a little bit different. They want to be creative. They want to bring the spotlight on themselves. And it's not a team anymore. It's almost like it's an individual thing.
But exactly. I get the money. There's a lot of money to be had. And the more spotlight on you, the more press conferences you're holding, you're going to be seen. But when a Randy Moss makes a statement like, I'm just not happy, and so when I'm not happy, I don't usually catch balls.
Yeah, he's making over $8 million.
Yeah.
I feel it's unfair to the fans because those guys, they go in there, they expect to see good football. Then when you have a player like Randy Moss say, hey, look, I'm unhappy, and if you make me happy, I might go out there and I might play well. Or you have a Terrell Owens say, I'm bored. And these guys are making $8 to $10 million, and it's just unfortunate. And the coaches today, they have to deal with these players, and it really becomes a distraction for the team. For Dallas, Bill Parcells, with everything that went down there, and I think Bill Parcells said, "Hey, look, I I had enough. I don't want it anymore.
We were talking before we came out here about the Bill Parcells stepping down. You said you were surprised by it, and you also mentioned that Jerry Jones was a very much a control freak, and maybe he was tired of that.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jones, he made a statement that he wanted him back, but I knew one of those guys had to go. It was going to be Bill Parcells or Terrell Owens, and Bill decided that, hey, look, probably I don't have as much control here, and I'm out. I'm done with it.
It's so sad too, because he's got this team ready to go to the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, they're not really that far away, and they came up a little short. You know, Tony Romo, he had the fumble.
Tough end.
Man. But the thing about when you fumble a ball like that, and you can win the football game, you have to live with that the entire offseason.
Yeah,
right.
So right now, this guy, he's living with that, and to be honest with you, I don't know if he's going to be the guy next year, to be the starter on the football field, because he got a little, he was not as consistent down the road. He made mistakes, and I think some of that magic wore off just a little bit. So they have to make a decision on if they're going to stick with this guy or if they're going to bring another quarterback in.
If you just joined us, Jerry Rice is in the room with us. Let's go back to the new regime of receivers. I had an interesting experience last night. I was watching the NFL channel, and they were showing Super Bowl 13, the Roger Staubach Cowboys and the Terry Bradshaw Steelers. And it was unique in that not only did I get to watch the entire game, but when a guy would score a touchdown, there was no dancing, no celebration.
But my first year, I did that.
You did?
Yeah. It was a couple games I tried to dance, and I looked at myself on film, and I looked so stupid. I looked so stupid. I said, look, hey, I can't do that anymore. After that, I didn't dance anymore.
Until
I'm sorry.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different story.
We'll talk about that.
We'll get there in a little bit. But yeah, I looked so stupid doing it, and I decided not to do it. Marvin Harrison, he's one of the receivers out there right now. He pretty much, he acts like he's been there before.
Right.
He scores. He hands the ball to the official.
Class act.
And if any he celebrates with his teammates.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys, you don't see that.
Right.
Their teammates are pretty much walking to the sidelines or something like that, and they just don't want any type of interaction. I remember one play in Dallas. It was a play in Dallas. Terrell scored. He ran to the star, and everybody is trying to high five him and do all that, and Terrell just running by everyone. Went to the star, and I said, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, watch out, because the second time he did it, I buckled my helmet because I thought the fans would come out of the stands and all that. It scared me to death. I had never seen nothing like that. And after that, I said, hey, look, this is the new generation now. That's it.
Jerry, I've always wanted to ask you. You're playing in a game, and I'm a defensive back, and I'm lining up against you. You're ready to go. The ball's about to be hiked. You're in your stance. I know you're better than me. I know you are better than me. What kind of games did some of these defenders try to get in your kitchen, try to get that edge over your athleticism, over your drive, over your greatness? Did they play games?
Oh, yeah. You're always going to have defensive backs. They're going to try to provoke you to do things. If the ball is not coming your way, they're going to hit you. It's going to be like an illegal hit or something like that, or they're going to do something. If you're down on the ground, they're going to push on you, or even just try to hurt you when you're on the ground. They do some crazy things during the ball game. But Bill Walsh, he was the best coach ever, because he was like, never get caught up in that. Control your emotions. And eventually, things going to turn. You're going to be able to make plays, and you're going to win football games.
Yeah, but what if the guy starts talking about your mama?
The best way to get back at him is to drop 6 on him. If you drop 6 on him, he's going to be quiet. So if you're really productive out there and you're having success, enough is said. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to really get vocal or whatever. I pretty much, it was the way I played the game and my productivity on the football field.
Take a little breaky and come back with the incredible Jerry Rice right after this. The Mark O'Brien Radio Program, 95.5 KLOS.
Welcome back into the Mark O'Brien Radio Program as we continue now our conversation with Jerry Rice.
Let's talk about your book. Why the book, and what are you going to get?
Well, I think I wanted I really just didn't want a sports book. I wanted about my childhood, family, just everyday life. And Random House, they gave me the opportunity, and I think the writer Brian Curtis did a fantastic job because when people read this book, they're going to get a little bit of everything. Everybody think that I was like I had so much confidence when I played in the NFL. But it was that fear of failure that pushed me. And I never wanted to fail my father. He was a bricklayer, and if I didn't do my job, my father would discipline me. And back in Mississippi, you really got it. You got it big time. So I never wanted to fail him. I never wanted to fail my fans, my teammates. And it was always that doubt in my head. Coming from a very small school, Mississippi Valley State University, going on to meet Joe Montana from Notre Dame, running lot from USC. These guys, they were from major schools, and I felt I had to go in there and prove myself.
But you went in the first round. How does a guy come from a little bitty college like that in the first? You must have had,
because of Bill Walsh. Bill, it was. I guess it was faith. Because Bill Walsh, they were in New Orleans getting ready to play the Saints, and he was watching some old film of Mississippi Valley State University.
Wow.
So that's how it happened.
He saw you and he said, that's my guy.
I'm going for this guy. And when Bill made that call, he took so much criticism behind it. Because the media, they were like, how can you go to this small school and make this guy your number one draft choice?
Wow.
And so I didn't want to let him down. So that was additional pressure. But I fought through all of that. And I think overall, it made me into the person that I am today.
There's, on the back of the book, and the book is called, again, Jerry Rice, Go Long, My Journey Beyond the Game and the Fame. There's a picture of you and your family.
Right.
The way your father was to you, how are you to your kids? What sort of advice could you give parents?
Well, see, I knew that my father loved me, but he never came out and said it. He was really the provider in the family and stuff like that. So you knew that he loved you and all of that. My kids, I tell my kids I love them every day. I'm always at their activities. I want to go there. I want to be supportive. I don't put pressure on them. When I go to their ball games and stuff like that, I'm a fan. I'm a parent, and that's it.
I don't want to piss you off, so you drop 6 on me, but you've got a hot wife.
Well, thank you.
She's beautiful.
Well, thanks a lot.
Nice family.
Now, you've got 2 daughters and a son, and your son, those are, if he thought about playing football, those are giant shoes to fill. Does he play football?
Yeah, he does. He started off playing wide receiver and defensive back. Last year, he played quarterback. And, I go to the ball games, and we stand, if he's not at school or something like that, we out in the backyard, we tossing the ball around. And, I'm there for support. And I'm not there to put pressure on him. Yes, it's going to be that really the expectation of.
That's Jerry Rice's son.
Yeah, exactly. But he's a good kid. He likes to really get his teammates involved. He's also playing basketball, and I think all the kids, they just love him at school.
Championship caliber players, and I'm going to go Jerry Rice, I'm going to go Brett Favre, I'm going to go Tiger Woods, I'm going to go where not only are they champions, they have the rings, they have the accolades, they have reached the top of their game, but they act like champions,
right? And
some of them don't. Now, becoming a champion, did that inspire you to act like a champion, or did you this is just the way you are? You saw the importance of, now that I'm a champion, I've got to act like it. I want to be a role model, or it's just the way you want to be?
I look at myself as a role model.
Sure.
And I know, Charles Barkley, they had some Nike ads. He talked about, well, I don't want to be a role model. But I'm totally opposite. Then you Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, all these guys. It's the way we played the game. We respected the game. We wanted little kids to be able to look at us and say, hey, look, I want to be just like him. And I think that's why I carry myself in such a positive way, even off the football field. You have to set the example, and I think my productivity on the football field been exceptional. I have been able to break so many records. I have played in so many Super Bowls. But if you walk up to me. You could walk up to me anywhere in the airport. Hey, I'm just Jerry.
Well, all the champions we just mentioned, including yourself, more so actually you than most. You have fun on the field. There's something, Tiger was having fun out there when things are going well. Brett Favre, he's just like a kid playing backyard football.
You notice that this guy is always, Brett Favre, he's always jumping around.
Yeah.
If he makes a play or something like that. It was just exciting to see him play last year. And I don't know what's going to happen the next season, but, man, this guy, what he stood for, his greatness on the football field, and there's no doubt he's going to go down as one of the best to ever play the game.
Well, as a fan, I can relate to your talent. As a fan, I can relate to how much money you've made. As a fan, I can,
money.
All this. Well, but about all these champions. But as a fan, how I relate to you most is having that smile on the field, having that I love playing this game.
And it was hard for me to walk away from it. 20 years of NFL football.
And you could have gone another couple of years, really.
And you know what, but it was
four or whatever.
It was so weird because I feel like things happen for a reason. It was time for me to walk away, and the thing about being in this profession, it's hard to make that transition. A lot of guys do not make that transition, and I was able to do some things. I came after I retired. I did Pros and Joes. I did that. Then I did Dancing with the Stars. And now Eddie DeBartolo, he started an agency to represent guys. I'm part of that. Sirius Radio. I've been doing some cameos on certain shows like The Game, The Class. And
having fun? And that's fun.
I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time. But even with me doing all of this, I still think about football.
Look, you're
you can't replace it. You can't replace it. I mean, being able to go out there and play in front of 60,000 fans.
Oh, yeah.
It was just something. It was something just special about.
Maybe
that.
when you're 50, it'll be easier. But right now, I remember when Walter Payton retired. I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I was for 3 years. I was like, he's still in shape. They could call him right now. And I kind of felt the same thing about you. You sit here before us in great shape, and you're probably sitting there watching.
I'm waiting on that call.
Yeah, are you? Okay. We get it. But you're probably sitting there watching these games going, right now, I can beat that defender. Right now, I know I can.
Well,
so it must be hard for you.
The way receivers are dropping footballs right now, it's just, Terrell Owens, I feel this guy could be really a great football player, but he just have too many antics, too many things going on off the football field, on the football field. And I think he led the league this year with 18 drops. If I had dropped that many balls during the season, and Bill Walsh, it was just no way he would tolerate that. So,
you're talking about how you just can't replace football in your life. Obviously, my partner and I, we never got to the level that you did, but we played football as kids, and some of my fondest memories are those heated battles in somebody's backyard where it would go until nighttime and it's freezing cold, and we were in the battle of our life. And talking about Brett Favre, I'm willing to bet you that you and Brett Favre played that game on a professional level the same as you did in the backyard of somebody's house when you were a kid.
Oh yes, sandlot football.
And that's where the love begins.
I'll never forget it. I back in the country, we used to play it on dirt roads. We used to play it on rocks. Yeah. It didn't matter. I'm serious. It did not matter. I remember we were playing sandlot football. It was like you had cars. You had cars, and it was behind some buses. And I went for this long pass, and I caught the ball. I caught the ball. But, I had a bloody nose after, but I caught the ball.
Right into the bus.
And that taught me right there to keep my eye on the ball. And you look at some of the hits that the receivers take during a game. I had a quarterback that was just unbelievable with Steve Young and also Montana. These guys protected me on the football field, and because as a receiver you're running routes and things are happening so fast.
Right.
You have to be able to almost have blinders on, knowing that hey, you got to have trust in your quarterback, and if he throws a bad ball, you might just end up in hospital.
Or hitting the bus.
Laid out.
The so-called hearing the footsteps. I can't imagine when you got a 230-pound guy racing to break your ribs, and you got to catch that ball, and you're in the air.
You know what? The thing is, you have to block all of that out. Because if you start thinking like that, they're going to start calling you alligator arms. And you see receivers when they extend and also quickly they extend and they pull back.
Yeah.
Those are, alligator arms, and you never want to have that title.
To get back up on the horse, though, maybe your first year in college, maybe your first couple of years in the pros, you were slammed I'm sure, harder than you've ever been hit. How do you get back up and go?
Oh, I have been knocked out. I got knocked out, but I love it. I love the game. I love the competition. It's like, you go out there, you get hit, you soar the next day, and you go in there and you say, wow, it's unbelievable.
How long were you out?
I think I was out for about 10 seconds. They asked me what I had for breakfast. I think I was on the field. I was drooling at the mouth. Then they walk you off, and then they start asking you all these questions and stuff like that. But yeah, I was snoring. I was out completely.
Jerry Rice is our guest. We're going to have to take a break. There's a book out, which we'll talk a great deal more about. It's called Jerry Rice, Go Long, My Journey Beyond the Game and Fame. Plus, when we come back, there is a book signing tonight. You actually have a chance to go and personally have Jerry sign your book. So, as we do business, if you'd like to talk with Jerry, we'll do our best to fit you in. 1-800-955-5567. This is the Mark and Brian radio program. 95.5 KLOS.
Welcome back into the Mark and Brian radio program. Jerry Rice sits with us in the studio. He's got a new book called Go Long, My Journey Beyond the Game and the Fame. Now, let's talk about that. You were on the first year of Dancing with the Stars. What got you into that? What made you decide to do it? And how experienced were you at that time with that kind of dancing?
I don't know what got me into it. No, I'm just they got in touch with my agent. My agent brought it up to me. At first, being this macho football player, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. There's no way I'm going to go out there and do Dancing with the Stars. And then my agent and I, we continued to, talk about it and felt like it might be a challenge. And we went for it. And it turned out to be an experience of a lifetime.
Well, the first year, this is the first year. It hadn't been on television yet. Nobody knew, especially me, that it was going to be the #1 show on television.
Yeah, I think it had to do with, the participants. You had George Hamilton, so many guys, Stacy Keebler, and every time she kicked her leg up, everybody would call in and vote for her. Drew Lachey, and I still say I beat that little short Drew Lachey no matter what.
There's some pain there, isn't
we
there?
had a collective group of guys. Yeah, but they gave me second. Yeah. I didn't like being second.
No, you're Jerry Rice.
Yeah, that's right. I want to be first, man.
You don't think he deserved it then?
So, they gave it to him, and it was okay. But I think it was great that Emmitt Smith came along, and he won the competition. And I told him the secret to winning is just to wink at Carrie Ann.
Is that it?
During the competition, you wink at her, you got her.
Give it a little something.
Is that right?
Yeah, give her a little something.
Who's the boxer that I was having fun with?
Oscar De La Hoya?
No,
Holyfield.
Holyfield.
Oh, yeah.
When I saw him dance.
Okay.
This is my invitation to him dancing.
Boy, if you guys could see this.
I cracked up when I saw that.
Yeah, but, that's something that terrified me, too, because, he took so much backlash, from doing Dancing with the Stars. And then I had my peers, I had everyone in the media saying, that I would tarnish my career by doing the show. And I went on there. I worked my butt off. It was the same approach that I took in football, and I took that in dance. I started a little slow, but I was learning throughout the process, and towards the end, I was at my best.
Let's talk about that. And let's even cut to the middle of your NFL career. You were the great Jerry Rice already, but the way I heard it, your workout regimen in the off season was paralleled no one. Talk about what you did from the moment you woke up till you went to bed. What your day was to prepare yourself.
Well, after every season, I only took 2 weeks off because I wanted to stay in shape. So many guys get out of shape, then they have to work themselves back into shape. So I started off doing working the hills, and this hill was like about 2.5 miles up.
Good
and,
Lord.
And we ran it for time. I had guys to come in, Barry Sanders, all these guys. We would work out, and they thought I was crazy. What I put my body through, but I was training myself because I knew during that fourth quarter that, hey, look, that I would be as fresh as the first quarter. That's when I would take advantage of the defense. So it was all about conditioning.
Are you saying you ran 2.5 miles up a hill?
2.5 miles uphill. We ran it for time, and after that, as the season got closer, I went into sprints where I would run the track. So a typical day for me, like 200 meters, I might run 8 of those. Then I run 100 meters, and then after that we go to the football field where we did all our cone drills and also running routes and catching the football. So a typical day for me started about 7 o'clock, and I'm done around 9:30. Then I'm off to the gym till about 1 o'clock doing my lifting.
And then you have a pizza. But seriously, this has got to go a long way for telling the tale of why you had such great longevity in the NFL, because you were in that kind of shape.
I was in such great shape during the season that I had to do extra, because with the team we had a 2-hour practice that was not enough for me. So after practice I had to run some sprints. So I would do hundreds or I'd do 80s, and I would catch the football when I was tired. That's why you're seeing so many drops right now, because when these guys are tired, that's when the lack of concentration. That's when you start having so many drops. So I was able to really just condition myself, prepare myself, and I think that's why I was so productive.
You mentioned with your workout, you mentioned Barry Sanders, and I think myself, along with a lot of fans, kind of wondered why he walked away. It was a shock to me, and I thought he just wants to get out of Detroit. He's going to come back with somebody else. But you apparently are friends with him. Why did he walk away when he did?
I think he was done. He didn't want to do it anymore. He was tired. He wanted to step away from the game. I think the same thing with Tiki Barber right now. He wants to do some other things, and they feel like this guy can still play and be productive on the football field. Jim Brown did the same thing.
Yep.
So, I think it should be your choice if you want to walk away. I tried to get everything possible out of football. The lifespan of a football player is 4 years. And my God, I played it for over 20. So I had a great time doing it, and
it sounds like you wanted to walk away and go, okay, now I'm done, and I have nothing else I want to do.
I didn't want to have any questions there.
What do you miss? People talk about the camaraderie. People talk about the challenge, the game day. What is the one thing you missed most? Can you name one or top 5?
You know what? I think I miss the fans. I miss my teammates. I miss going into a hostile environment, knowing that it's just 45 guys against 60,000, fans, and I miss all of that. But still, I look at football and I try to keep up with certain guys and try to support those guys.
One of the great things that we've talked about here on the program, we had Joe on the show. And we talked about, there is footage, obviously you can still see it today, one of the great, you can pick any one you want, but one of the great drives that San Francisco was so well known for.
Super Bowl 23?
It could well be.
Okay, you got another one?
No, not one in particular.
Okay.
It's just the way that you guys would step into the huddle. You got less than 2 minutes. You got to drive 80 yards. And you and Joe Montana are in the huddle and you're smiling, like you know something that nobody else does. And it was such a loose, relaxed, and obviously you produce.
The great competitors, they live for that situation.
They want the ball.
When everything is on the line. You look at Michael Jordan and so many other great players. And I remember Super Bowl 23, Joe Montana he was over there he was talking to Bill Walsh on the sidelines. Then he came from the sidelines into the huddle, and he was just squatting down. He was pulling grass. For some bizarre reason, Harris Barton said something about, and I don't know anything about this John Candy being in the stands. We getting ready to move the ball downfield because, hey, look, all I wanted to do, I just wanted to hear the cadence, and I wanted to break the huddle, and I wanted to try to win this football game.
Right.
But Harris Barton talking about John Candy, and wow. And so we broke the huddle, and everything just went quiet. I mean, just to focus there. I couldn't hear the crowd. All I knew is that I had to make plays. I had to run precise routes, and I had to catch the football, and I was able to do that. And we moved the ball all the way downfield and won the game.
Yeah, but Montana's looking for John Candy.
Yeah, he's looking for John Candy. Like, come on, guy, what is going on here? We got a game. We trying to win a football game here, okay? It's John Candy. Oh, there's John Candy right over there.
2 minutes left, boys. Come on now. Little offense now. Jerry, we're going to take a couple calls here. Let's go to Kevin on line 8. He's got a great question for you. Kevin, you're on the air with Mr. Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, wow, man. Big fan.
Thank you.
I've got autographs and everything, man. You're just such an inspiration.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
My question is, I've got a 7-year-old son. He's getting ready to turn 8, but he's 4 foot 10 inches tall, weighs 120 pounds.
Wow.
So I've been, trying to figure out how to get him in Pop Warner. They won't let him in.
Yeah, I think you have to be a certain height. Which I feel like that's so unfair.
And it is, and he wants to play football. He loves, we play all the time. We go out in the yard, go out to the park. He could throw a 10-yard spiral, dead on. We've been playing since he could throw the ball.
Well, buddy, I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't play Pop Warner or anything. And it was, and I talk about this in my book because it's funny. I was playing hooky one day. I was a sophomore in high school. That's how I got my start playing football, because at first I had no interest in playing football. But so, hopefully, if he doesn't play Pop Warner later on down the road, this guy can really pursue what he wants to do in life.
So there's the message, kids. Don't go to school. Play hooky. All right. We unfortunately we were just told the very nice ladies that brought you in, Jerry, are asking that this be the last segment because you've got things to do. Busy. Go. Go.
I'm all over the place, man. But yeah, look, I'm having a great time here.
Well, the name of the book is Go Long: My Journey Beyond the Game and the Fame. Jerry, a true pleasure and honor to have you with us today. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Jerry.
We'll be right back right after this. The Mark O'Brien radio program, 95.5 KLOS.